Hey folks, it's time for another review of 2019 free fantasy football cheat sheets. And in particular, we're looking at printable cheat sheets and just the free stuff for now. Later on, I'll do some reviews of the stuff that costs money. So I've already discussed ESPN right there, and I did lineups.com. And then Fantasy Pros right there is another one on the first page of results. So let's click through and take a look at what you get with Fantasy Pros. Not a great start. Um, right off the bat, I can see that it's not customizable so much. They're going to give me a few kinds of cheat sheets: standard, PPR, and half. So that's not customization. That's just common types of scoring. So customization, you want to be able to customize things for your team. So the number of teams in your league and the position count. So if you got a 2 QB league, or you got a 3 wide receiver league, or a flex league, or et cetera, et cetera. There's so many different ways that these things can be configured. So I'm not getting that here for free, but I do see a nice print button. And if I click that, oh, I can log in, and it's going to ask me, well, I don't know why I have to log in to get my expert picks, but okay, so there it is. So that's all right. That looks nicely printable, and I'm getting a ranking. Um, and I don't know why it would give me all this information. I don't need IDP. This is not an IDP league. Um, don't even know if that has anything to do with the customization I just selected, because I didn't say I had an IDP league. Um, all right, this is strange so far. Um, so scrolling down through the list, and lots and lots of data, and they're claiming it's customized. So let's see, wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins in a standard league is number one. In a PPR league, it's Devontae Adams. So if I print that, will I actually get? All right, well, now it's giving me something else. These are experts. I guess I can include, say, some of the experts' information in my pick. That doesn't really, not interested in that. I just want to print. Okay, I hit the wrong button there. So let's see, Devontae Adams is number one here. You can see that if I zoom in for you here. Um, there's Devontae. So let's see if I switch back and can't zoom out. Live zoom. Okay, there I am. I'm back. So that was with my PPR, and if I switch to standard, is it smart enough to give me DeAndre Hopkins as the top wide receiver? It did. Okay, so at the very least, I got a printable cheat sheet that's somewhat uh, customized, in that if I had just a PPR league and a standard league, I do get that sort of customization. But again, that's not much in the way of customization. You want to see things more customized for the number of teams in your league, especially because that allows you to do value-based drafting. Um, VBD is very important because, if there are 10 teams in your league, it's very different from a 8-team league and a 12-team league. And I won't discuss the principles of value-based drafting here, but it's critical. as are the position counts and as are the points, of course. Um, anyway, this is sort of your basic customization. You've seen this probably at many sites, and that's kind of all the customization you can get for free, it seems. Um, so without any team customization, and by that I mean without the ability to tell this cheat sheet that I'm in a 10-team league, then it can't provide me information about value-based drafting, which I just mentioned, but it also can't tell me things like wait until pick or what they call, I've seen some leagues say percent chance that you can get a player. So, for example, if I'm the sixth player, excuse me, the sixth person in a 10-team league, then I have the sixth and the 16th pick. So, um, if a player is available at the 16th pick, I wouldn't obviously take him with my sixth pick. So that's called a wait until pick 16. So I don't see that here. Obviously, I'm not going to get that because that only comes with team customization. So out the window goes all that. So what else? This is shaping up to be pretty much bare bones basic cheat sheet. What else do I want? I got my printability, and that's the bare bones. I got minor amounts of customization. I'm not getting any ADP information. I'm just getting a ranking. These are not ADPs. They're just rankings. Um, so if I find out, for example, Ezekiel Elliott or David Johnson his ADP is 16, and I see his overall rank. They do have an overall rank here overall, so that was nice. So if I look through this list and I see David Johnson, his overall rank is 4, but I don't know what his ADP is. So if I knew that, then that'd be pretty useful in determining things like sleepers and duds. If his ADP is 10 and his rank here is 4, then that's a sleeper. And vice versa, he's a dud. So I can't tell any of that information. It's not presented here. And Fantasy Pros, I know, has that information available to it because it has, well, you can see there are draft mock drafts going on this site. So it has information to ADP, and it could present it here, but it doesn't. The site doesn't. All right, so I'm not getting any ADP. I'm not getting any sleepers or busts. I'm not getting wait until pick. I'm what else? I'm not getting much of anything. The depth chart assumptions I might be getting, but I can't. They're not available here. I can click through and take a look at, say, Nick Chubb and get a note about Chubb, but that's not really, it's not printable. For a free printable cheat sheet, I want I need to see everything. It's got to be at my fingertips, and it's nice that they gave me a nice one sheet PDF here, and there's Nick Chubb, um, right where he should be, but all this is giving me is a ranking. Nick Chubb, 11. Well, what's the depth chart assumption? Nick Chubb has got one of the best backups in the league. Are they assuming that Hunt is going to sit the bench all year? Probably not. Are they assuming that Hunt is going to be in an RBBC, running back by committee? I don't know any of that. Couldn't they put an asterisk here or some other indication that, what's the assumption? Is it Is it an RBBC? Is it that Chubb is going to be all 16 games, or is it that he's going to be splitting time, maybe RB1 for the first 8 games and RB2 for the last 8 games? I don't see any of that here, unfortunately. So that's not going to be very helpful to me, especially, um, I don't, it doesn't have to be a single printed cheat sheet. This, I can staple together a bunch of pages, but you gotta tell me assumptions like that. Um, if these apply to all the cheat sheets, then I need to know that. So no depth chart assumptions are presented, or if they have them, they're not presented. I'm not even sure they have them at all. So really don't know anything about what this is all based upon to look at it. And I don't really want to go clicking through the site for, I'm talking about something I want to take with me to the draft. So also not getting, I can see any injury information, so, tight ends, who was the tight end for Indianapolis? His name escapes me, but he's got it injured. He's got an injury. Um, and I would like to know that. I would like to, see, if, maybe highlighted in red or something if the player was injured this week. Um, but I'm not seeing that. So let's try and find tight end, IND, Ebron, yeah, and Doyle. So Doyle, I found out today was hurt, and there's no indication that he's gonna. So there's up-to-date stuff here. Um, yeah, so he got hurt, but why not present it here? Like put a little, well, if not a, asterisk, then some other indication that, hey, he got hurt this week. So no injuries. There is a link, but the links don't help you in the draft if you're taking in a printable cheat sheet. And then of course, tiers. There are no tiers here because there is no custom point forecast. So for example, you're not, oops, Saquon Barkley and Alvin Kamara. It's just ranking 1 and ranking 2. I don't, even if the only customization they're going to give me is these regular kind of scoring things, they can still present me with some sort of point forecast, but I'm just getting a plain ranking, which doesn't give me any indication of how much better Saquon is than Alvin Kamara. So I've seen in other cheat sheets, RotoWire, they presented me with the actual point forecast, and I could tell, according to RotoWire, that Saquon was way better than Alvin Kamara, at least according to their point forecast, but I'm not getting that here. And without that, I can't tell that Saquon is in a tier by himself and that Kamara and McCaffrey in the RotoWire example were sort of in the second tier, second shelf. And that's such useful information because that if I know that Alvin and Christian are the same player, then I can interchange them. I can wait. So if I know that I want McCaffrey on my team and I've got the number 2 pick, and I know that Kamara and Saquon are going to go 1 and 2, then I can trade down to the number 3 pick, and then I can get an earlier pick as the snake draft wraps around. And likewise, if I know, information about the cluster, I can trade down and get even, for my RB2. So I saw and David Johnson at RotoWire, I saw that David Johnson and James Conner were essentially the same point forecast. They were in the same tier. And that allows me to trade down again if I think James Conner is going to be a good RB1, and then I don't have to use an earlier pick to get David Johnson or vice versa, depending upon what the ADP is. So, yeah, no tiers, no ADP, no custom point forecast, um, no configuration whatsoever. I'm also not getting hot and cold information. So, you know, they could tell me, that Saquon is hot. He's going to start the season out with um, three teams that give up tons of points to RB1s. And that would be really useful information, wouldn't it? Um, and vice versa, if he's going to start out the season with the three teams that give up the least amount of points to RB1s, then he's going to be cold those 3 games. And I would like to know that in the draft as well. I mean, in Saquon's case, it doesn't really matter because he's so good and he's in a tier by himself. But when it comes to Kamara and McCaffrey, the next two guys, it matters. If McCaffrey is going to start hot and Kamara is going to start cold, then guess who I'm going to pick? I'm going to take the hot player, and then in week 3, when they turn cold, then I can trade them, and they'll I can ride that wave, and I can get Kamara because the Kamara owner will say, "Shoot, I'll take McCaffrey. Yeah, here's Kamara. Let's swap because uh, you know he started out bad." So the way these players start out is critical. Um, and you could be 0-3 and have one of these two running backs. Um, but hey, that's the way it works out. So bottom line is it's not presented here in this cheat sheet, and you need to know that information. All right. So let's review. Um, Fantasy Pros, I think, is a great site, and I like these guys. They got a lot of tools here that I'll get to when I start reviewing um, tools that you have to pay for. But in terms of this free printable cheat sheet, this may be the worst one I've seen yet. ESPN's was pretty bad, but this is pretty bad as well. I mean, you get printability, and that's about it. I'm not getting any ADP. I'm not getting any customizability other than these 3 things that I see here. I'm not getting any VBD, value-based drafting. I'm not getting any sleepers or busts. I'm not getting wait until picks. I'm not getting depth chart assumptions. I'm not getting hot or cold. I'm not getting tiers. I'm not even getting injury information on the front page. So I would put this cheat sheet in the same category as ESPN's, and which is a D. It's below average. You're not getting much of anything at all. And better luck next year, Fantasy Pros. But I will review some of these other tools that they have here, which cost money later on, and perhaps that's where the real value is for Fantasy Pros. We'll see. Thanks for watching this video. This has been Dr. RoboCoach. Please like. I'll include a link in the description below to the article on my site that inspired this review. Please like this. Also, if you watch this long, then I'll tell you a little secret. If you send an email to robocoach@fantasyfootballdraft and just tell me that you watch this, then I will give you a free subscription that will give you a cheat sheet that has all those great things that I talked about in this video. Thanks for watching.